there is a really fun part of the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Maybe it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where Willy Wonka is talking to one of the little kids, and I think he grabs, I can't remember where it is exactly, but I think she's like, Snosberry? Who's ever heard of a Snosberry? And then he grabs her face, and as they're about to lick the wallpaper, and he says, we are the makers of music, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really inspiring part of the movie because we really are the makers of music in our lives and the dreamers of dreams in our lives. And we can really have a lot of dreams and things come and become a reality if we approach it with the right mindset. So I have Nicole here today. She's helping with this fantastic tool that we are going to teach you. And it's a lot about the way that your day goes. So I've just found with my kids and with myself, you can be going along in the day, and you too, Nicole, you can chime in too, but
Yeah.
you can be going along in the day and you find that all of a sudden somebody's decided that they are not going to be happy. And they're just like unconsolable. You know, it's like you can't convince them
Nope.
to be happy anymore. And it's almost like it's an active choice in your head. And, you know, it's easy to see that in a 7-year-old or in a, you know, especially like a 2 or 3-year-old.
Yeah.
They just are like, I am not going to be happy today. And when you think about it, we really are all the same way. Like we're all that same way where we can get it in our head that we're not going to be happy. And if you can do it that way, then what if you can flip it into the other way? And you can actually get it in your head that you're going to be happy. So that's what this theme of this is we are the makers of music and we are the dreamers of dreams. And the tool that we're going to show you is how to reset yourself. So you might have an experience where it's just like something's going bad and you don't know what's going on that. Maybe you can chime in.
Yeah. Well, like as a mother, especially a working mother, I've had many mornings like that where it's like one child wakes up 5 minutes late and it throws the whole morning off. And now you're running late, things aren't going as smooth. Maybe you forgot to pack a lunch, it's snowing, and there's so much that just throws your whole morning off, and that can make you grumpy.
Very grumpy. Yeah.
Makes me grumpy.
And then you show up to wherever you're supposed to be and whatever you're supposed to be doing, and that grumpiness and that feeling and that spirit comes with you.
Yes.
And it transmits into what you're doing next. And you think, well, you know, what's the solution? So people kind of say, I had a bad day, right? Oh, it's been a bad day today. And you know what I'm about to say too, right? With bad day?
Yes.
So explain more about what do we do about a bad day?
Oh, we try to find the positive instead. We try to focus on the positive, you know?
Yeah. And then if you can shrink that bad day down to something that's less than the
Yes.
whole day, that would be great, right? So what if you
That's
only
true.
had a bad morning and then the rest of the day was awesome?
Yep.
Or what if you only had a bad half a morning and the rest of the morning was awesome?
Yes,
Or what
that's
if
true.
you only had a bad hour and the rest of the day was awesome? Or what if it could just be a few minutes that you're able to reset that? So that's the idea, is just being able to compress down that bad day part of it to a bad moment,
Yeah.
and then move on and be
Yes.
able to really be the creator of the music for the rest of the day that you have.
Yeah.
So the tool that Nicole and I have done for years now is the reset tool. So I learned this from a magician, surprisingly. I was at this conference and there was this magician and it was kind of interesting, and he was talking about that. But what you do if you're trying to reset yourself is start to rub your hands together like this. So if you're doing it at home, go ahead and do it. But just rub your hands together like this until
Nice
you can
and warm.
feel the warmth of of your hands like this. And then when you start to feel the warmth in your hands, then smack them together like that. And you can feel in your hands like the tingle that kind of comes down your hands and in your arms and down into your heart and body, and that's the reset. And so it's kind of this physical component to resetting yourself. And Nicole and I have used this. It's like
All the time.
on the day. So Nicole is my treatment coordinator, and she sees patients usually about once every hour. And you might be in with one patient and tell the difference of like when you're in with somebody, and that hour is kind of like there's something negative about it, and then you've got somebody coming in the next day till the next hour.
Yeah, so I will try to take a quick second, even if I just, run into another room or somewhere private, and I do the reset because it's so important, especially in my position, to be in that right mind frame. And I don't want to carry that negativity from that appointment over to the next one. It needs to be fresh, it needs to be new, and it needs to just start good. And so I'll use it in between all the time if I feel like I need to.
It's fantastic. And that person who, in this setting, Nicole's seeing one person for that hour, and say like it's some negative feeling or negative experience. The next person that's coming in doesn't know.
No.
They don't know what went on in that room before, whatever it was, and they don't know what you've experienced during that previous time. So if you're able to reset first, and then that whole next experience can be fresh and can be kind of what it needs to be, it makes that meaningful for that person that you're with. And we're all about kind of being there with the one-on-one with each person, and if you're dragging over the energy and the experiences of the previous hour or whatever it is into the next one,
That's not fair to them.
it really isn't.
No.
It's really not fair. So when you take this principle, apply it a little bit further forward to like a family setting. When I show up from work, whatever happened at work, right?
Yeah, leave
And
it.
like, it makes me feel really good. When I show up from work, my kids, they're kind of funny because they jump in, and I walk through the door and they actually applaud.
Oh, that's so cute. I didn't
And
know
it
that.
makes me feel so good. It's kind of like they're applauding. And it's just this tradition that's just started. It started with some of the younger kids, and now
Aw.
I walk through the door and they start applauding for me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes me feel so good. So why would I ever want to if there was negative energy from the day, why would I want to let that drag into the home life? And when you walk in, what's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? And that does go back to Roses, Buds, and Thorns, which is a different tool. But what are the things that you're thinking of, and how do you have the moment of where you're going forward be an energetic and a positive thing? So we hope that you'll use this tool.
It's a good one.
like we've been using for ourselves for several years now to help that day. Don't ever have a bad day. Have a bad hour.
Yeah.
Or have a bad whatever amount of time you can choose that you can have it be like.
Yeah.
Decide in advance, right? Don't let it just control you, and the reset could be there. So one more time, let's practice it. So
Okay.
you rub until you feel the warmth, and then when you feel the warmth, then smack, and then go on.
Take a deep breath too. I always do that. I take a deep breath with it. It just helps.
Yep.
It's good.